The 10th Ward, obviously, we know, being that we're still surrounded by the steel mills and the land that they occupied. Obviously, we suffered economically due to the closing of some of those steel mills. Do you see any opportunities in our community to improve the economic situation of the 10th Ward? And to include also, as a side note, do you see any opportunities in the green industry? Obviously, we're talking about buzzwords.
Yeah.
What are we doing to become more green in our community?
Well, in terms of green, my office, in association with another number of groups, including Claretians and the CSI, the Calumet Steward Initiative, and so many other groups, have sponsored the Green Summit. And we've done this for 3 years. This past year, in 2010, we actually expanded it from a weekend to a month-long program. And there we're reminding the public or educating them about the green initiatives that exist in the 10th Ward already and those that we are pursuing. So some of the simple things that people don't realize is you can participate in environmentally conscious activities by turning your water off when you're brushing your teeth, not putting your hose on for extended periods of time even though you want the greenest grass in the neighborhood, getting a rain barrel, or putting complex fluorescent light bulbs to save energy, turning down your heat, or getting a programmable thermostat. All that is good ways and simple ways, cheap ways for a local person to benefit the environment. But we've done some bigger projects too. We've created the 10th Ward yard, the Streets and Sanitation Ward yard, and we made it green. We have wind turbines that generate enough power for that facility to operate in the winter without any need for pulling off of the grid. We also have water retention ponds there, and we have solar panels to really become energy efficient. So we're not relying on the grid, the electricity, and we're not creating as many carbon dioxide emissions as we have to. There's sensor lights in there, so as a city and as a government, I think we need to talk the talk, but we need to lead by example and walk the walk. And we're doing that by creating a ward yard that is reflective of how green we can be. And we're using those TIF dollars too, which I think are a great use of the monies that the taxpayers are paying.
Mm-hmm. Is there anything that you feel that's in place or possibly being worked on to possibly get the younger generation involved in thinking more green and being aware that there's things out there that they can possibly aspire to do?
Yeah, there are. We work closely with the grade schools in particular and the high schools. And actually, one of the high schools just outside the ward is Bowen High School, and they're made up of 4 smaller schools. Bowen has a school that's called BEST, Bowen Environmental Science Team. So we understand the importance of the environment and science, and their core curriculum focuses on science, including green. And we work closely with the schools to kind of present a green agenda to them. And any new facilities that come up in the ward, even the existing ones, we offer tours to the public so that people can be aware of what's going on. But quite honestly, Sam, I think that the younger folks can teach us more about being environmentally conscious because they've become more mainstream. They've learned about it from the day that they were born, where some of us older folks are getting introduced to it more in the later years. So they're probably the best stewards of that, but we've got to continue to focus on them and guide them to ensure that they remain consistent over the years.
Right. Well, while we keep in mind the future generation as far as green opportunities are concerned, is there anything coming down the pike as far as green opportunities for people who might be in the job marketplace now that might be within our community?
There's everything actually. We have designated the South Chicago Community LEED, LEED, Leadership in Environmental Engineering Design. That holds neighborhoods to higher standards to be more conscious about the environment. It's not just recycling per se or energy efficient light bulbs. It's about less use of vehicles and carpooling. It's about low flow water devices. It's about less emissions on your vehicle and using hybrid cars. It's about not putting so much water back into the sewer system but having it naturally filtered into the river and lake so they're not taxing our system. But one project in particular that we're working on, which I think is a win-win, is a composting center in the East Side community. And this is a composting specifically for food waste and other organic materials. Most people don't realize it right now, but when you put your garbage in your garbage can, it's picked up by a garbage truck, but where does that go? It goes to the landfill. We don't need more landfills in the city and in the nation. We need to be more conscious about that and recycle. In particular, food products represent a large portion of the waste stream, and we've been fortunate to have a company come to the ward through our recruiting of my office and the rest of the city and to establish the Chicago Compost. And there they're going to take food scraps and basically recycle them by simply putting them under a tarp and let Mother Nature do its work of naturally degrading that material. And they're going to hire more people. They're going to keep the garbage out of the dumps and recycle it. They're going to cut down on the number of carbon dioxide emissions, and they're going to create a viable product for the community to use. And they've committed to providing free composting or soil to the local community organizations for gardens, for schools, for parks. Again, I've offered tours and a great program that's been endorsed by the Autobahn and the Sierra Club and so many others. So we're happy to have a very green company coming to the ward that's doing the right thing, including adding a lot of jobs, several hundred construction jobs during its construction forum, and also permanent jobs.
Well, that sounds great. I look forward to hearing more information about that.
Thank you.
Along with that, obviously, you continue to strive and work towards things that will improve our community. What are some of the areas that you feel the 10th Ward can improve on outside of that?
You know, that's a tough one, but I'd say everything. We've done a lot, but I think the voters, the residents, businesses are very demanding, and it depends who you ask. Someone will be more focused on senior issues, some will be more focused on veteran issues. We as a local government can't necessarily place priority on all of those, but they're all important. We've done a good job of communicating. I want to continue to focus on that. But I think jobs, although we've had several thousand jobs come into the community, we have the opportunity to do more of that. And we want to continue to focus on that, but make sure that they're good paying jobs, first of all, that local people are hired, and that they benefit the community as much as possible as far as an environmental and income standpoint.
Is there anything that you feel you could do better? And what actions are you taking to improve those issues that you may feel like?
Well, you know, we communicate very well, like I said, but technology is changing so quickly that we need to continue to take advantage and be on top of that. Not too long ago, we got on Facebook, which has really emerged as a great means of communication. More recently, we're on Twitter. We continue to use CAN TV and the senior network here, which I think is great. But I think as we see technology change, we'll try to take advantage of that. We're very responsive to emails. So I think as those different mediums become available, we need to communicate even more to encourage as many people to get involved as possible, because it's through a coalition, through the effort of my office and all those other organizations and individuals who really make a successful program regardless of the subject matter.